Hello there, very good evening. This is the weekend edition of Primetime News on TV1 for the Newsfirst, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this evening.
Indian Prime Minister bestowed with the honour of Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana. Construction of the Sampur solar power plant begins. 7 agreements including defence cooperation agreement signed. Will not allow Sri Lanka to be used for any activity detrimental to Indian or regional security, President Dissanayake reassures. Interest rates will be reduced when restructuring debt, a statement from the Indian Prime Minister. 3 military teams from Sri Lanka deployed to assist in relief operations in Myanmar.
On to those stories in detail. In a gesture symbolizing the deep and enduring friendship between Sri Lanka and India, Sri Lanka's highest honor for a foreign dignitary, the Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana, was conferred upon Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The prestigious award was presented by Sri Lankan President Anurakkumara Dissanayake during a joint press conference held at the President's office in Colombo on Saturday. This accolade recognizes Prime Minister Modi's significant contributions to strengthening the bilateral ties and fostering goodwill between the two nations. The Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana is a Sri Lankan honor for heads of state and heads of government with which Sri Lanka has friendly relations in appreciation of their friendship towards and solidarity with the people of Sri Lanka.
The Indian delegation, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, met with high-level Sri Lankan officials headed by President Anurakkumara Dissanayake. The Indian delegation included Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Indian Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar and Indian Foreign Secretary Bikram Mishri. The Sri Lankan delegation, led by President Dissanayake, included Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasurya, Foreign Minister Vijay Theherath and Governor of the Central Bank Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe. The Indo-Sri Lanka joint press conference was held thereafter.
Coming from a non-traditional political background and having gained power through a pact with the people to change the political culture and prejudices that hindered the progress of their country towards a developed new world, the Honourable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, has brought about political transformation in India. We who have attained power with similar aspirations consider the appreciation of these events as a historic endeavour. We applaud the way India has positioned itself not only as a regional power but also as a global power. It must also be said that our applause is sincere. Like India, Sri Lanka also believes that the rise of South Asia is a shared goal that can bring brilliance to the entire region.
President Anurakkumara Dissanayake also clarified the country's foreign policy in this regard.
Sri Lanka's foreign policy, guided by national aspirations and promoting peace and national sovereignty, serves as our roadmap. I extend my sincere gratitude to Prime Minister Modi for India's unwavering commitment and support towards our country's economic recovery and sustainable economic journey. In line with India's Neighbourhood First policy framework, we engaged in detailed discussions regarding the future enhancements of the already excellent defence cooperation between our two nations, and I reiterated my firm stance that Sri Lanka's territory will not be allowed to be used for any activity detrimental to India's security or regional stability.
Attention was also focused on cooperation in expanding boundaries beyond Sri Lanka's exclusive economic zone. The President stated that he requested Prime Minister Modi's intervention to expedite bilateral technical discussions regarding Sri Lanka's claim submitted to the United Nations Commission on the Limits of Continental Shelf, or CLCS.
We discussed potential digitalization cooperation across multiple sectors. I express my gratitude to the Indian government for providing a financial grant of 3 billion Indian rupees for the implementation of the Sri Lanka Digital Identity Project.
The president stated that attention was focused on the following matters as well: cooperation to ensure access to reliable, affordable and timely energy sources, cooperation in the tourism sector, a collaborative approach to finding a sustainable solution to the Indo-Lanka fishing controversy, banning the use of bottom trawling, a prohibited fishing gear, and combating illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing.
I must emphasize that India and Sri Lanka are not merely two countries on a map. They are two nations connected by history, strongly bound by trade and united by friendship. I would also like to express my appreciation for Prime Minister Modi's concept of Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. As a timely and realistic concept, I once again express my gratitude to Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and his delegation for visiting Sri Lanka at this important juncture marked by a people-centered political transformation.
Subsequently, the Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana honour, the highest award bestowed upon a foreign head of state, was conferred upon Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය ශ්‍රී නරේන්ද්‍ර මෝදි මැතිතුමා ශ්‍රී ලංකාව සහ ඒ ජනතාවට සමවිතම ලබා දුන් ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ මිත්‍රත්වයේ සහ
I am pleased to announce that the Sri Lankan government has decided to confer the Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana honour, the highest Sri Lankan honour bestowed upon a foreign head of state, to Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi as a symbol of the great friendship and unwavering, multifaceted support he has consistently extended to Sri Lanka and its people. This honour is bestowed upon foreign heads of state in appreciation of their friendship and cooperation towards the people of Sri Lanka. We firmly believe that Prime Minister Modi, a close friend who has always stood by Sri Lanka, is most deserving of this honour.
අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය මෝදි මැතිතුමා මෙම ගෞරවය ලැබීමට අතිශය සුදුසුකු බව අප තරයේ විශ්වාස කරනවා.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
After according the honour of Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he expressed these views.
श्रीलंका मित्र विभूषण से सम्मानित किया जाना
It is a great honour to have been conferred the honour of Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana for the friendship and support extended to the Sri Lankan people. This is not an honour accorded to just me, but an honour accorded to all 1.4 billion people of India. I extend my gratitude to the President, Government and the people of Sri Lanka. I know about the historic relationship between Bharat and Sri Lanka, the deep friendship and the courage of the people of Sri Lanka. I believe that Sri Lanka will rebuild themselves to be much stronger. India is proud that we were able to fulfill the duties of a respectable friend. The Indian government worked with the Sri Lankan people during the crises like the April 21st attacks, the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic crisis after that.
श्रीलंका के लोगों के साथ खड़े रहे.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also spoke about how the relationship between India and Sri Lanka grew after President Kumara Dissanayake assumed office.
राष्ट्रपति दिशा नायक ने अपनी पहली विदेश यात्रा के लिए
The deep friendship between India and Sri Lanka was displayed in the fact that President Dissanayake chose India for his first official visit after assuming office. Sri Lanka has a pivotal position in India's Neighbourhood First policy and Mahasagar initiative. After President Kumara Dissanayake visited India during the past 4 months, bilateral relations between the two countries have seen significant development. I believe that the partnership between the two countries will benefit the people of Sri Lanka. We have provided a grant of 2.4 billion Sri Lankan rupees for the economic and social upliftment of the people of Sri Lanka. We have supported the development of neighbouring countries under the Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas initiative. We have decided to restructure the debt given to Sri Lanka and reduce interest rates. This will greatly benefit the people of Sri Lanka. The spiritual bond between Sri Lanka and Bharat is several centuries old. To solidify this bond, we hope to grant the opportunity to devotees to pay homage to the relics of Lord Buddha found in Gujarat in 1960. We will also take steps to bring down those relics to Sri Lanka as well. India promises to aid in the renovation of the Tirukoneshwaram temple in Trincomalee, the sacred city of Anuradhapura, and the Sita Eliya Kovil. I take this opportunity to thank President Anurukumara Dissanayake and the state of Sri Lanka for conferring the highest honours and extending a warm welcome to me and my delegation.
राष्ट्रपति दिशा नायक ने अपने समावेशी दृष्टिकोण के बारे में मुझे बताया.
7 memoranda of understanding between India and Sri Lanka covering several key sectors were exchanged this morning at the Presidential Secretariat in the presence of President Anurukumara Dissanayake and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The President's Media Division announced that these agreements focus on enhancing cooperation in the fields of energy, digitalization, defence, healthcare and development assistance. The 7 agreements are as follows. MOU between the Government of India and the Government of Sri Lanka for the implementation of HVDC interconnection for import and export of power. MOU on cooperation in the field of sharing successful digital solutions implemented at population scale for digital transformation. MOU between the Government of India, the Government of Sri Lanka and the Government of the United Arab Emirates for cooperation in development of Trincomalee as an energy hub. MOU on defence cooperation between India and Sri Lanka. MOU on cooperation in the field of health and medicine between the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of India and the Ministry of Health and Mass Media of Sri Lanka. A memorandum of understanding on pharmaceutical cooperation was exchanged between the Indian Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of India and the National Medicines Regulatory Authority of Sri Lanka. A memorandum of understanding on multi-sectoral grant assistance for the Eastern Province. These agreements were exchanged in the presence of President Anurukumara Dissanayake and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
The virtual inauguration and commencement of 3 development projects implemented in the country with the assistance of the Indian government took place today in conjunction with the state visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the invitation of President Anurukumara Dissanayake. These projects include the commencement of construction of the Sampur solar power plant, which will add 50 megawatts to the national grid. The Sampur solar power plant is being developed by Trincomalee Power Company, a joint venture between India's NTPC Limited and the Ceylon Electricity Board. The project is planned in 2 phases, with the second phase scheduled to commence in 2027. A 500-acre land area has been allocated for this initiative. Under the first phase, it will contribute 50 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. The Sampur solar power project is expected to reduce annual carbon dioxide emissions by approximately 200,000 tons. The Dambula Agricultural Storage Complex cold storage facility with a capacity of 5,000 metric tons and equipped with temperature and humidity control was inaugurated today with the objective of reducing post-harvest losses by approximately 40%, stabilizing fluctuations in agricultural product prices, ensuring supply of high-quality food to consumers, and enhancing agricultural sustainability. To facilitate research on advanced storage methods for different crops, the facility includes 6 storage chambers, each designed to simulate various climatic conditions. This is the first facility of its kind in Sri Lanka, built at a total cost of 524 million rupees, with 300 million rupees provided as a grant by the Government of India and 224 million rupees contributed by the Government of Sri Lanka. The project to install solar panels on 5,000 religious sites spans across all 25 districts and includes places of worship representing all major religions. The Government of India has invested $17 million in this initiative, which is being implemented jointly by the Ceylon Ceylon Electricity Board, the Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority and Lanka Electricity Company Private Limited. This is expected to add 25 megawatts of solar power capacity to the national electricity grid.
During his visit, the Indian Prime Minister also met with the members of Sri Lanka's 1996 Cricket World Cup winning team.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday at approximately 8:30 p.m, commencing a 3-day official visit at the invitation of Sri Lankan President Kumara Dissanayake. He arrived on Air India One, a special aircraft designated for Indian government dignitaries. The Prime Minister's visit to Sri Lanka is being conducted under the theme Friendship of Centuries, Commitment to a Prosperous Future, reaffirming the enduring bond between Sri Lanka and India and their shared commitment to a thriving future. Upon arrival at the Katunayake Bandaranaike International Airport, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was welcomed by Minister of Foreign Affairs Vijitha Herath and Minister of Health and Mass Media Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, among others. Prime Minister Modi then departed the airport for the Taj Samudra Hotel in Colombo. There he received a warm welcome from the Indian community residing in Sri Lanka. Following that, the Indian Prime Minister watched a performance of a traditional Ambalangoda puppet show. The official state reception for Prime Minister Narendra Modi took place this morning at the Independence Square in Colombo. Prime Minister Modi, upon his arrival at the Independence Square, was welcomed by Sri Lankan President Kumara Dissanayake. After escorting Prime Minister Modi to a special platform, the Sri Lanka Army paid their respects by playing the national anthems of both countries.
With Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi travelling to Anuradhapura tomorrow, a special traffic plan will be implemented around the Anuradhapura city. The Prime Minister is scheduled to pay homage to the Jayashree Mahabodhi in Anuradhapura tomorrow morning. Accordingly, the police say that Anuradhapura Airport Road, Hospital Roundabout, Elephant Roundabout, Jayanti Roundabout and Udamaluva Road will be intermittently closed from 8 a.m. to noon. During a special press briefing in Colombo today, Indian Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri provided details about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to Sri Lanka, including details about the discussions and agreements signed between the two countries.
So, let me take the MOU on defense cooperation. I think this proceeds from the fact that we've had very good conversations between the two leaders. They started in December last year when President Dissanayake visited Delhi, and they continued during this visit. And one of the recurring themes in the discussions, and in fact I would say a point of really close convergence in the narratives from both sides, has been a recognition of the completely interlinked nature of the security, the national security of Sri Lanka and India. The President of Sri Lanka has both during his visit to Delhi and on this occasion and on several other occasions mentioned and stated very, very clearly that Sri Lankan territory will not be used or be allowed to be used in any manner that is inimical or detrimental to India's interests. In fact, if I recall correctly, during discussions today, he said that neither Sri Lanka's land nor the oceans around it will be allowed to be used in any manner inimical to India's security. So this is the background of the signature of the defense MOU between the two countries for the first time. And the MOU is in itself an umbrella framework document that will make existing defense cooperation initiatives more structured. There will be activities related to, of course, the continuing and even intensifying the tradition of high-level visits between the two countries, more joint exercises, capacity building in various areas, exchanges in HADR-related operations, increasing port calls by naval units of both countries, and also to explore defense industry cooperation between the two sides.
Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri answered questions regarding the MOU on the development of Trincomalee as an energy hub during the press briefing.
With regard to the questions related to the MOU on the development of Trincomalee as an energy hub, this is an MOU between India, Sri Lanka and the United Arab Emirates. At the present moment, the way this is structured, it is a government-to-government MOU in order to provide the enabling framework and to set out some of the broad terms of reference for this cooperation. The immediate next step that will be enabled by this framework MOU is the identification and the nomination of specific agencies and entities that could be government entities or private sector entities, or could be entities related to the governments themselves, that will try and realize the business-to-business part of this agreement. So the actual projects that will be carried out will be discussed in detail by the designated business entities of the three sites, and that is the next step that will ensue. The UAE is a major energy partner for India. It's a strategic partner for India in the energy space, and it was therefore an ideal partner for this particular exercise that is being, I think, done for the first time in this region.
Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri also spoke about the Indo-Sri Lanka fisheries issue during his press briefing.
As the Prime Minister said himself during his remarks, there was emphasis on the need to adopt a humanitarian and constructive approach to cooperation on these issues, because these are ultimately issues that impact the livelihood of fishermen on both sides of the Pork Bay. The Prime Minister emphasized that at the end of the day, it's a daily issue for the fishermen, and that certain actions that have been taken in recent times could be reconsidered. We have been informed that the Sri Lankan authorities have taken a decision to release 11 fishermen imminently, I believe, and perhaps a few more in the coming days. There are also releases of fishermen that take place from India from time to time. We've also, both sides also emphasized the need to intensify the institutional discussions between the two sides. As you are aware, there is a joint working group on fishermen between the
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
Vihiluneme Tokyo super ඕන වැඩකට super. Vihiluneme Tokyo super ඕන වැඩකට super.
At least 18 people, including children, were killed in a deadly Russian missile attack on Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky's hometown.
Ukrainian officials said that the Russian missile attack on the central Ukrainian city of Kryvyi Rih has killed at least 18 people and left dozens wounded. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that 9 of the dead were children. Local officials said a ballistic missile had hit a residential area. Russia's defense ministry later claimed a high-precision missile strike had targeted a meeting of unit commanders and Western instructors in a restaurant, and that up to 85 were killed. It provided no evidence. Ukraine's military responded by saying that Russia was spreading false information to try to cover up its cynical crime. It said Moscow had fired an Iskander-M ballistic missile with a cluster warhead to maximize casualties. The attack yesterday was among the deadliest on Kryvyi Rih since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022 and comes as US President Donald Trump pushes for a ceasefire. Zelensky wrote on social media that at least 5 buildings had been damaged in Friday's strike.
The global market has now further declined, with China announcing that it will impose tariffs on goods imported from the United States.
Following US President Donald Trump's imposition of tariffs on approximately 90 countries, including China and the European Union last Wednesday, China retaliated yesterday by imposing tariffs on the United States. Specifically, China imposed a 34% tariff on American goods. Economic analysts point out that the global market is showing a downturn as a result of these tariff impositions by the US and China. All 3 major US stock indices have fallen by more than 5%. Foreign reports indicate that the S&P 500 index has fallen by approximately 6%. This week marks the largest decline in the US stock market since 2020. The UK stock market had also fallen for the first time in 5 years. Foreign media report that the Asian stock markets have also declined. The committee appointed to investigate and provide recommendations regarding the future actions to be taken concerning the US tariffs convened today under the chairmanship of the President. During the discussion, the committee's proposals regarding how the country should proceed in the face of these tariffs was extensively discussed. This committee comprises officials including the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, the Governor of the Central Bank, the Chairman of the Sri Lanka Board of Investment, the Chairman of the Sri Lanka Export Development Board and the Director General of Economic Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as Presidential Senior Economic Advisor Duminda Hulangamur, Chief Economic Policy Advisor of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce Shiran Fernando and Ashraf Omar, Sharad Amalian and Saif Jaffarji.
The first special flight carrying Sri Lankan Tri-Forces personnel departed for Myanmar this morning to provide relief to the people affected by the earthquake. The death toll from the recent earthquake in Myanmar has now exceeded 3,000.
The earthquake occurred near the Thai-Myanmar border last Friday. The magnitude was recorded as 7.7 on the Richter scale. Search operations for the missing persons are still underway, and authorities say the death toll could rise further. Rescue teams have yet to reach some of the areas devastated by the earthquake. However, the country's security forces have managed to rescue some people trapped in the rubble. The Sri Lankan embassy in Myanmar says that a Sri Lankan citizen was also rescued. This harrowing experience was faced by a Sri Lankan who was working as a teacher at an international school in Myanmar. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Defence said that the team that departed for Myanmar today included a medical team, a search and rescue team and a relief team. The aid collected under the leadership of the Mahanayaka Theros of the three sects for the affected people was also transported on the same aircraft.
Newsfirst with the people. දේශපාලනයේ හෙට දවස සතිය දිනවල සවස 6:00ට
ඔන්න මෙදා සැරෙත් අවුරුද්දට අපි එනවා
කන්තලේ මධ්‍ය මහාවිද්‍යාලීය ක්‍රීඩාංගණයට අප්‍රේල් 19 දවස පුරා
අවුරුදු සිරියෙන් පුරවන්න ඔයාලත් එන්න
අවුරුදු කුමරා කුමරි බයිසිකල් ධාවන තරගය
ඔරුපැදීමේ තරගය සහ ජන ක්‍රීඩා රසක් සමග
කුරුණෑගල බැජී සංගීතයට ජනප්‍රිය ගායක ගායිකාවන් ගී ගයන
නැගෙන හිරට අවුරුදු
අප්‍රේල් 19 වනදා දවස පුරා
කන්තලේ මැදි විදුහල ක්‍රීඩාංගණයේදී.
A vessel carrying 700 kilograms of ice and heroin drugs in the sea west of Sri Lanka has been taken into custody by the Sri Lanka Navy. The Navy stated that 7 individuals on board were arrested.
The drug haul was discovered during an operation based on information received. The Sri Lanka Navy said that the valuation of the haul has commenced after it was brought to the Dikkovita fishing harbour.
All preparations are set for the Sirasa Vasanta Udana 2025 to be held tomorrow at the Galnava Mahavali grounds. Several programs launched in line with the event were held, centered around Galnava today.
The Alutsahal Mangalya of the Mahavali H zone for the year 2025 was held at the Aukana Raja Mahavihara today. The event, held under the auspices of Chief Incumbent of the Aukana Raja Mahavihara, Shastravelye Dhammakirti Thero, was organized by the office of the Resident Project Manager of the Mahavali H zone. Many agrarian organizations and farmers of the Mahavali H zone participated in this event. The event was attended by the Resident Project Manager of the Mahavali H zone, Ubaya Kalyana Kumara, officials of the Mahavali Authority, Chief Operating Officer of MTV MBC Channels Private Limited Yasarat Kamal Siri, Sirasa TV Director of Sales and Marketing Chamika Roshan and members of the staff. At the event, the first harvest of paddy from the previous season were offered to the Aukana Buddha statue. Gammadda laid the foundation for yet another project in Galnava today in line with the Sirasa Vasanta Udana celebrations. 275 students pursue their education at the Kattaragama Primary School in the Galnava education zone of the Anuradhapura district. Although these children are talented in the arts, they did not have a stage to perform on. They were left to practice their performances under the shade of trees. The principal of the Kattaragama Primary School, Malini Ratnayaka, informed Gammadda about this. Gammadda was prompt to act, and today the foundation stone for the construction of an open-air stage was laid. Mr. and Mrs. Simon Sena Ratna are funding this worthy endeavour. The event where the foundation stone was laid for the project was attended by the assistant principal of the Galnava Madhya Mahavidyalaya, chief incumbent of the Sri Gangarama Temple, Venerable Kattaragama Upananda Thero, Chief Operating Officer of MTV MBC Channels Private Limited and Deputy Leader of Gammadda, Yasarat Kamal Siri, Sirasa TV Director of Sales and Marketing Chamika Roshan, Resident Project Manager of the Mahavali H Zone, Ubaya Kalyana Kumara, Galnava Divisional Secretary GMKR Priyadarshana, Galnava Zonal Education Director Suranji Amaduwa, Galnava Divisional Education Director Piyumi Nisansala Bandara, OIC of the Galnava Police Rohan Munasinghe, Principal of the Khattaragama Primary School Malini Ratnaika, General Secretary of Gammadda Prasanna Athukorala and the Gammadda team. Gammadda always stands ready to light the way to a brighter future for the next generations of Sri Lanka. Gammadda, for the people, by the people.
Gammadda Rata Nagana Janapawra.
The much-anticipated Sirasa Vasanta Udana 2025 is taking place this year in the heart of the historic Rajarata region. Adding colour and excitement to the festivities, several water game competitions of the Sirasa Vasanta Udana were held today at the scenic Kala Baba. The celebration continues tomorrow at the Galnava Mahabali Stadium, where over 40 traditional Aurudu games await. We warmly invite you to join us at the Galnava Mahabali Stadium tomorrow and share in the joy and spirit of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year.
The 2024 Freda Korea Awards ceremony organized by the Gamini Korea Foundation was held yesterday.
The 2024 Freda Korea Awards ceremony held yesterday was organized by the Gamini Korea Foundation or GCF to honor Sri Lankan women contributing to the country's development and empowering families.
Then we move to the writer S.A.S. Senanayake.
Beyond recognizing efforts, the initiative also serves as a research to identify challenges faced by low-income women striving to improve their families' economic conditions. The competition highlights storytellers who showcase women's success in overcoming barriers, inspiring others and contributing to the nation's development.
The third annual general meeting of the ICT Lawyers Guild of Sri Lanka was held this morning.
The ICT Lawyers Guild of Sri Lanka held its third annual general meeting today. The ICT Lawyers Guild was a set-up to upgrade the knowledge of its members while carrying out educational programs for the legal community and the general public on ICT law. In the meantime, the Guild will also provide legal aid on the same subject area for those in need.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1. For details of the stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. Thank you for watching. Take care and good night.